Let's first start with the solutions front end. We log into the Infinity portal and open CloudGuard Application Security. Next, let's add an asset of type Web Application. For ease of use, we can start this from the Getting Started screen. After our Web Application asset is set up, we will do the same for Web API protection. In the wizard, we define our target for protection. We name it, define its zone if it is part of a group of assets, define whether it's in the stage of staging or production, and finally in this step, we add the front-facing URL for the web application. Now we choose the type of practice to apply to our target. This represents the type of policy to enforce. In order to train the engines to detect legitimate traffic versus malicious traffic, it's best practice to keep it on Learn Detect until learning has progressed sufficiently to recommend the move to prevention. The amount of time for this process varies by the number of requests sent and whether trusted users have been defined, but more on this later on in this session. As discussed earlier in this session, part of the learning process involves profiling user behavior. For that to happen, AppSec needs to distinguish between users. One way of doing this is by their differing IP addresses. To ensure their original IPs are forwarded to AppSec, instead of any IP address of an intermediary machine along the way, such as a proxy, we choose this option. We can also help the engine by identifying ahead of time source IPs that are unlikely to be malicious. This helps accelerate AppSec's learning phase. Now we define a deployment profile. We can either choose a profile we've previously created or create a new one. Since in this case it is a first-time configuration, we'll opt for creating a new NanoAgent profile to be deployed according to our selected implementation. That is, a NanoAgent within an Nginx reverse proxy set up as the target Linux machine. In the wizard summary step, we can publish the application security policy and enforce it. Publish saves changes to the database, and enforce means the policy changes are ready to be picked up by its target, similar to install policy on a gateway. Our web application asset to be protected is now set up in the front end. Now, we proceed to deploy the NanoAgent. First, we navigate to our profile in question. This will be our source for establishing the trust between the NanoEgg installed on the target asset and the Infinity platform. Now, we open an SSH connection with a target machine. Once established, we can copy the commands from our profile in the front end to establish the connection with the Infinity portal backend. This will be preceded by the fetching of the NanoEgg, its installation, and its automatic download and installation of the NanoAgent components from the backend, while also fetching the policy. This is all done while using the system-generated reusable token. At the end of the process, a success message should appear in the command line window. To check that the agent is up and running, we run the command cpnano-s. A message will also appear in the portal indicating that the agent has connected successfully. This completes the NanoAgent deployment, which means application security for our target asset is active.